Brutus Monroe fans, Sweta here. Today I'm here to make a card with this beautiful mixed media stencil. It's a 6x6 stencil and it's called Stained Glass Garden. And I'm going to use some Chroma Mists with it. I'm using shades of yellow, red, a little bit of the turquoise and cobalt blue, and as I go along in the video I might add in a color just to make things flow much better. And I'm going to use the stick and stamp mat to hold down my watercolor paper. Today I'm using a much heavier paper, distress paper from Tim Holtz, since I'll be using a lot of water. And I'm going to position my stencil right over it, and I'm going to create a little hinge over at the top just so that if I need, I can lift up the stencil and have a look underneath. I have some water over on the side, and what I'm going to do is I'm just simply going to wet the area where I'm working, and over on the side I am going to put down some yellow Chroma Mist to begin with on the glass media mat, and then I'm going to pick it up and work with that to lay down some color. Sorry about the upside down views here. Just makes it easier for me to put down color and work with it. Next, I'm working with the cobalt blue. I just have it over on the side. It's not visible in the video, but and then I'm going to also use turquoise in the middle to kind of transition back into the yellow. I'm just looking for a loose watercolor look. As you can see, the stencil, there's some watercolor underneath it. I'm not too worried about it, but if you prefer cleaner lines, I would suggest using something like pixie spray that ensures that the stencil sticks a little better to the paper and keeps the water from seeping underneath. But I did not, I was okay with this kind of look, so it did not bother me if the watercolors went a little underneath the stencil. Moving on to the pinks, and then finally the candy apple red, to add a little more shade to our sun in there. And then I'm using it very light-handedly. We don't want to saturate it too much, and we don't want to hide that yellow completely. So, and then we can give it a quick burst with the heat gun to help set it. Here it is without the stencil. I took it off, and as you can see, there's plenty of watercolor underneath the stencil, but doesn't matter. I'm gonna go over all of these lines with the Korean markers, first in the gray, and then I'm going to use the black. I'm doing this to create that look of stained glass windows where the edges are done in darker inks or raised surfaces to make it look very similar to a stained glass window. So I'm gonna go ahead and trace all of the lines in gray first, and then to make it stand out a little more, I'm gonna go ahead and repeat the same thing with black. I'm using an extra piece of napkin on the side just to clean off the ruler, because sometimes it has the marker kind of stains the edge of the ruler, and you don't want to drag it across your card panel, and so I just clean it off over to the side. With the black, I'm only doing a single line kind of right in the middle, so that with the grays on either side, it gives it a little more softer look than those absolute harsh lines. I'm going to go ahead and trim this panel to fit a square card. And since it's a black cardstock for my base, I'm going to put an extra white panel inside so that it's easier to write on it. I'm going to glue down the top watercolor panel here. On the top, I'm going to leave a little bit space right on the top and the bottom. Once that is done, I put out a few sequins just to see how I liked it. But before I glued them, I wanted to put the sentiment on there. It's called Enjoy This Day, the sentiment, and it's from the stamp set called Hopeful Blooms, released earlier. So I'm just going to ink it up with the detail black. And finally, let's glue down the sequins with some Barely Art glue here. I decided that I wanted to add some glitter glaze to this, so I'm using the Fallen Snow glitter glaze, and I'm gonna just give a little highlight, not cover everything, but just a few highlights here and there, starting with the clouds and then moving on to the sun. And I'm adding a little more to the bottom of the sun rays that are reflecting in the water. And that's it. The card is all done. Thank you for watching this video, and if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the Brutus Monroe channel. And also don't forget to visit us on social media, where you can find more inspiration on all of the latest Brutus Monroe products. Thank you for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day.